Councilman Munger,
Present.
Councilman Karakini,
Present.
Supervisor Keating,
Present.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Present.
Councilwoman Martin.
She's absent tonight.
Councilman Munger, pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, this evening we have no other preliminary matters. And moving on to regular business for this evening. We have under regular business, item number 1 will be direction and adoption of minutes for January 16, 2019. Councilwoman Lukacek.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I was able to review the minutes, and having no changes, I request make a motion to adopt the minutes to January 16, 2019.
I second.
Councilman Munger,
I'd like to recuse myself as I was absent.
Councilman Karakini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Item number 2, under regular business this evening, we have the consideration of all fund bills. Councilman Karakini.
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. This evening I had the opportunity to review 2 abstracts, one from December of 2018 and in the amount of $6,683.64, and abstract number 2 from January of 2019 in the amount of $108,525.01. I make a motion that we approve the fund bills in the total amount of $115,208.65.
A second.
Councilman Munger,
Yes.
Councilman Karakini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, we've got a couple minutes before we have 2 public hearings this evening, so I'm actually going to hold off from opening up the floor for just a couple moments. I am going to move, let's see here, we do 2 minutes, we'll move down to use facility, item number 6 under new business. We have a use facility for hospice spring bouquet delivery. Councilman Karakini.
Just give me a moment to get to that page since we're going to skip ahead. Thank you, Supervisor Keating. We have a use of town meeting facility. Herbert Klein has requested the facility for Herbert Klein for hospice, delivery of hospice bouquets. The event is to be held on March 6th from 1 to 3 p.m. They're requesting the Town Hall Community Room. I make a motion we accept this use of town meeting facility.
I'll second.
Councilman Munger,
Yes.
Councilman Karakini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, we're just about 30 seconds away. I think we're close enough. So I'm going to go back up to, because of the public hearing, item number 2, we have the public hearing to extend the Boston Emergency Services contract. Councilwoman Lukacek.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Public notice for the town of Boston for the public hearing. Please take notice that the Boston Town Board, Erie County, New York, will hold a public hearing at February 6, 2019 Town Board meeting to extend the Boston Emergency Services contract for the purpose of furnishing ambulance service to the town of Boston in the amount of $66,256, which will be allocated as follows: $30,000 for general operating costs, $7,000 for liability, $14,833 for upgraded arterial monitoring equipment, and $14,423 as the annual installment due on September 29, 2019 to Evans Bank for the ambulance unit number 815. Public hearing will be held at Boston Town Hall, 8500 Boston State Road, Boston, New York, on Wednesday, February 6, 2019 at 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. All persons interested in the matter shall be heard for or against at such time and place. That was dated January 2nd, 2019, published January 11th, 2019, by the order of the Town Board. Sandra Quinlan, Town Clerk. Thank you very much.
Okay. Item number 3 for new business is the Resolution 2019-05, which authorizes the contract for the general ambulance service with the Boston Emergency Squad Incorporated. Councilwoman Lukacek.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. We have to do the hearing first.
Yeah,
So-
Yes, right. So I'll open up the floor for any comment for the hearing. Okay, no comment. I will close the floor for the public hearing. All right, moving on to item number 3, Resolution 2019-05, authorizing contract for general ambulance service with the Boston Emergency Squad. Councilwoman Lukacek.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Resolution number 2019-05, authorizing the contract for the general ambulance service with Boston Emergency Squad Incorporated. Whereas the town of Boston desires to provide by contract for general ambulance service and first aid for those persons who require such services within the boundaries of the town. And whereas Boston Emergency Squad Incorporated offers such services and is a current provider of those services, the town board believes it to be in the best interest of the town to execute this contract. So I make a motion that we authorize the resolution number 2019-05.
I'll second.
Sorry, not here to this yet.
Councilman Munger,
Yes.
Councilman Karakini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek.
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you.
Okay, item number 4 under new business tonight is our second public hearing for the evening, is the public hearing for the cable franchise agreement. Councilwoman Lukacek.
Thank you. Apologize for hearing me again. The public notice, this is the notice of public hearing for the approval of the cable television agreement between Time Warner Cable Northeast LLC and the town of Boston. A public hearing shall be held by the town board of the town of Boston on February 6, 2019 at 7:45 p.m. at Boston Town Hall, 8500 Boston State Road, Boston, New York, regarding granting a cable television franchise agreement by and between the town of Boston and Time Warner Cable Northeast LLC, Charter Communications. A copy of the agreement is available for public inspection during normal business hours at the town clerk's office, located at the same above address. At such public hearing, all persons will be given an opportunity to be heard. Written and oral statements will be taken at that time. Time limitations may be imposed for each oral statement if necessary. This was dated January 16, 2019, and published January 25, 2019, by the order of the town board, Sandra Quinlan, town clerk.
I'll open the floor for any public comment.
Supervisor, representative of the potential franchisee is present and I believe is prepared to make a brief presentation.
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. My name is Mark Meyerhofer. I'm Director of Government Affairs for Charter Communications. It's the corporate name for Spectrum. It's more well known as Spectrum now. And this replaces the current franchise agreement, which expired in January of 2015. It has it's a 10-year agreement. It continues on with the 5% franchise fee, which is the federal limit. And we made some adjustments to the gross revenues definition in consultation with Councilmember Lukacek and the town attorney, and also adjusted the payment time from annual payments to quarterly, so you get them on a more regular basis instead of waiting towards the end of the year to get those changes. That's basically it on in a nutshell of what the franchise agreement is in terms of the existing one as compared to what it is today, and certainly open to answer any questions you may have.
I don't have any questions at this time. I know a lot of residents have questioned, build out, but that was something that, and we've had that discussion earlier in the year, and I brought that up at board, additional board meetings. I don't know if you have any information on that, but that is certainly with broadband internet being the hot topic these days. I don't know if you can speak to any of that tonight, or do you have?
Sure, I know we have somewhere in the range of 80 homes that were targeted. Some of those have already been built out, and we plan to continue that throughout 2019 and finish up. We did provide a map I believe at one point to Councilman Lukacic, just to show, just kind of hold it up here just so you see it. I mean, this kind of shows from a distance here anyway, all the blue lines is where we are. Pretty decent coverage in the town of Boston, and like some of your neighbors, as you know, Supervisor Keating, I've talked about that in your neighboring towns. But yeah, that's our plan, is to finish up with those, as I said, total of around 80 homes throughout the town of Boston.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay,
Was
any
there
other?
a question in the back?
No, actually, it's Girl Scout.
Oh, okay.
Okay, no other further comments from the floor? I will close the floor for the public hearing. Thank you. Okay, moving on to item number 5 under new business. We have resolution 2019-06 granting a cable television franchise agreement. Councilwoman Lukacic.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The resolution 2019-6, granting a cable television franchise held by the Time Warner Cable Northeast LLC. Let's see. Is a limited liability company organized and existing in good standing under laws state of Delaware, doing business in Niagara Falls, for the approval of renewal of our Time Warner's cable television franchise for 10 years, commencing with the date of approval. And the franchise renewal agreement will bring the franchise into conformity with certain provisions of the Federal Cable Communications Policy Act of 1984. The Board of the Town of Boston hereby grants the cable television franchise of the Time Warner Cable Northeast LLC in the Town of Boston for 10 years commencing on this date and expiring 10 years hence. This includes the Boston Highway Department, Boston Valley Elementary School, Boston Library, Boston Volunteer Fire Department, North Boston Volunteer Fire Department, Atchison Volunteer Fire Department, on Boston and Cole Road, Boston Town Hall, Boston Emergency Squad, and the Boston Recreation Building. I make a motion that we approve the resolution number 2019-6.
What's your second?
I'll take it then. I'll second it.
Councilor Munger,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacic.
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you.
Okay, we've already covered item number 6 under new business this evening, which was the application for town use facility for the hospice event. So moving on to item number 7, which is a request to our Patricia Maxwell, who is our past deputy attorney, to request to attend the Association of Towns Annual Conference. I'll take this particular appointment. I have a letter from Patricia Maxwell, and she has attended actually a couple of years in a row, along with myself, to the Association of Towns Annual Meeting. And the letter reads that I've been advised that we're looking for a written request for me to attend the training this year in February in New York City. Please let this letter serve as my formal request for permission to attend and being reimbursed by the town. I've been able to secure a flight in the expense of $196 and be looking to be reimbursed for the cost of the flight, attendance, hotel, and incidentals while in New York, which are all reimbursable according to general municipal law. I appreciate very much you supporting this training. I'm able to complete the required CLE and attend my useful sessions relative to my work as town prosecutor and counsel to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Thank you for your courtesies. Yours truly, Patricia A. Maxwell. So I will make a motion to approve Patricia Maxwell to the Association of Towns event.
I'll second that.
Councilor Munger,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacic.
Yes,
Motion carried.
Item number 8, this is for Councilman Zach Munger, request to attend the Association of Towns Annual Conference. I'll also take this one. Councilman Munger provided me a letter with his formal request to attend the annual Associated Towns annual training in New York City. And sincerely, Councilman Munger, I will make a motion to approve Councilman Munger to attend the annual conference tonight.
I will second.
Councilor Munger,
I will recuse myself from that vote.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacic.
yes,
Motion carried.
Item number 9 tonight, under new business, we have the annual refuse licenses. Councilman Munger.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Yes, we have received the annual refuse licenses from Waste Management, Modern Disposal Services Incorporated, and, sorry, I already forgot the other one, Allied Waste Services LLC. I would like to make a motion that we accept them.
I'll second.
Councilman Munger,
Yes.
Councilman Tarantini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashev.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 10 tonight, which is Resolution 2019-07, which is the agreement with the Boston Free Library Association. I'll take this item tonight. Historically, the town of Boston has always made a contribution to the Boston Free Library in the amount of $1,000. Looking at the historical lease agreement, we changed it up under the education law now and made it a little bit more simplistic, not only for the library, but also for the town of Boston, also kind of reeled some things in to make us more compliant with the laws set forth between general municipal law and the education law. So I will make a motion to approve the agreement between the Boston Free Library and the town of Boston in the amount of $1,000. I'll make that motion to approve that agreement.
I second.
Councilman Munger,
Yes.
Councilman Tarantini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashev.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, and moving on to the depository agreement, the actual agreement itself for the Boston Free Library, I will make a motion to approve the depository agreement for the Boston Free Library Association, which also reads that it will be a $1,000 contribution to the Boston Free Library, and I'll make that motion to approve.
I'll second that as well.
Councilman Munger,
Yes.
Councilman Tarantini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashev.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item number 12 tonight on our new business, we have approved Connie Miner, a grant writer contract. Connie Miner has been a grant writer for the town of Boston, and I will add in that actually just in the past 12 months, between the town, myself and the town board and working with the grant writer, we've actually brought in just a little over $250,000 to the town of Boston in grant writing. So it's a nice accolade to Connie, but without further ado, I will pass this off to Councilwoman Lukashev to approve Connie Miner.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, for adding everything I was going to add. So I make a motion that we approve Connie Miner to be our grant writer contracts for this year, 2019.
I will second wholeheartedly.
Councilman Munger,
Yes, absolutely.
Councilman Tarantini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashev.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Item number 13 under new business, we have Resolution 2019-08, which is to approve the Code Red Service Agreement with the Town of Boston. This agreement is something that was brought up by the town board a few times. The resolution will bring on the Code Red Emergency Service. So if you know any friends, neighbors, or loved ones that in their municipalities had Code Red, well, it's finally coming to the town of Boston. The cost of the taxpayer in the resolution as it reads is $3,200 for that. And I will make a motion to bring Code Red to the town of Boston.
I will second that.
Councilman Munger,
Yes.
Councilman Tarantini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashev.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, this evening we have no other old business, so.
Jason, before we move on to old business, can we take it back to number 1 that got missed? Request from the
Oh,
floor?
you know what, my apologies. I do apologize. Request from the floor, most importantly, we had public hearings. Thank you, Zach.
Absolutely, actually, thank you, Deputy Supervisor.
Thanks, Rich. Request from the floor, so I'll make a motion, or I will open up the floor. Request from the floor, if there's a 3-minute time limit per person, please come up to the microphone, state your name and your address.
Sherry Pluta, 6973 Boston Cross Road. I don't know who to report this to, but all of the streetlights in the valley portion of Boston Cross Road, except for one, do not work.
Sherry, actually, Mike let me know about that, and it has been reported.
Good, thank you.
Absolutely.
I will add on to that, Mrs. Pluta, that, so NYSEG is aware of the issue. I've been looking at the opportunities for LED lighting for the municipality. A lot of municipalities are looking at this. Mrs. Westfall, who's our representative from NYSEG, they're aware of that. NYSEG, if anybody hasn't followed NYSEG was at one point, I believe it was 2 years ago, don't quote me on this, but I believe it was roughly 2 years ago, they actually were acquired by a different company, almost a Spanish company, but then it was actually acquired by, NYSEG was acquired by a company here in New York State, and I don't recall that company's name. A lot of that work has been outsourced. So whether you as tax-paying residents, or any of us here in the town board, or our lighting liaisons, when we do fill out those forms on the NYSEG site, or you call those numbers, call those light posts in, it is taking a long time. It's not, unfortunately, it's not just our community, it's many others, not that I'm making excuses, but it's NYSEG is aware of it. I've been trying to work with Mrs. Westfall from NYSEG to try to get those lamps replaced. What residents will end up seeing in the long term is that those high-pressure sodium bulbs, the orange bulbs, are being replaced with halogen bulbs, which are giving off a lot brighter light. In some cases, they're not an orange lamp anymore, they're becoming a white lamp. That's starting to become a little more of a, I hate to say a complaint, but it really is becoming a complaint because the glare that's coming off those lamps are pretty intense in some cases. So I am working with NYSEG and a couple other entities and UB on exploring the feasibility, essentially working on early feasibility studies for LED lighting for the town of Boston, what our return on investment would be, but there is some there's some legal components to that, because essentially when a municipality switches over to LED lighting, we essentially take that on as an asset. So everything from what's called the armature, which is the post off the pole, to the lamp, that becomes an asset of the town of Boston. It's no longer handled or maintained by the power company. So there's a lot of working parts in there. We are trying to get those crews out there, and maybe down the road, we can look at LED lighting, which will serve the community and provide tax savings to the community as well going forward. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. Any other comments from the board? Okay, I will close the floor. Thank you. Okay, moving on to reports and presentations. Highway Superintendent.
Yes, past couple weeks, we've had quite a bit of snow. The truck's been out plowing quite often. We've had a couple major breakdowns with the trucks, one axle and one truck, a big four-wheel drive plow truck, and axle broke. And then the gears in the rear end, the ring and pinion gears went bad, so that needed to be changed. Other than that, one truck had a broken spring. Other than that, it was just changing blades, and one truck, the chains for spreading the sand. We had to replace the chain, but it's just been maintenance and a few repairs, but that's pretty much all I have tonight.
Okay, thank you very much. Attorney for the town.
I have nothing that I don't anticipate will be covered in the council member report.
Councilman Munger.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Just want to extend a thank you to North Boston and Boston Fire Companies for an invitation to their annual installations. Unfortunately, I was not able to make Boston's, but North Boston's was very nice. We had the attorney for the town and myself had a meeting that we had to cancel in regards to the refuse license coming up for this year, and that is in the process of being rescheduled now so that we can move forward with getting a request for proposal together for the town. That's it at this point.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilman Carnegie.
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. I'd like to thank the Erie County Water Authority for their prompt response on repairing some of the recent water main breaks that we had last week. The town is working with our engineering firm as well as the Erie County Water Association or Authority to determine a long-term resolution to the some of the reoccurring issues. Last week I had the pleasure to attend the Boston Golden Chiefs meeting. The most relevant thing to report from there is that on February 25th at 7:30 at the Boston Fire Company, there's going to be a class put on by the county for a Narcan system. So that, again, that'll be held February 25th at 7:30 at the Boston Fire Company. I also wanted to extend a thank you to the North Boston Fire Company and the Boston Fire Company for invitation to their installation dinner and evening of fellowship. I was very disappointed that I couldn't attend the North Boston installation dinner, But I would like to thank Kelly Martin for standing in my place. This morning we met with Connie Miner, the new rec director, and Supervisor Keating to discuss the summer concert series. We did secure our grant for $1,000 from the ASI, and we're in the process of setting that schedule. Connie made a couple of recommendations to us that we took under advisement, and this year we're going to take a look at the bands and typically what they draw. And what we'd like to do is have the nonprofit groups, whether it's the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, the fire companies, if people are interested in vending something at that event on, pre-event or during the intermission, I would contact myself or our rec director, Melissa McCaffrey. A quick reminder that it is against town code to plow snow across the roads. And I received a couple complaints from residents about that. So I please ask everybody to not plow the snow across the roads. It creates a safety issue. It's also not polite to put that in your neighbor's yard across the street either. If you have plow contractors or if you're doing it yourself, please refrain from doing that. It is against our town code. And finally, I'd like to thank our highway crews and the county crews for the response last week. I think overall we did a pretty good job in getting the roads under control. So that's all I have tonight.
All right, thank you very much. Councilwoman Lukacs.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The planning board will be meeting on February 12th, Tuesday at 7:30. Code review will meet immediately after. And I've got a Ready Erie app that people can download onto their phones. I am a proponent of emergency planning, so this helps with families, and if you have a business or you are a small business owner, it helps with emergency alerts and notifications from the Erie County. It helps provide emergency planning for you and your family, emergency services and shelter information, invaluable preparedness information. So it's really nice application. If you are interested, I've got it, and I will provide the information to Sandy to put on our website if anyone is interested. The next step is that I'd like to talk about the ZBA, February 7th. We'll be meeting on Thursday, and February 25th on Monday at 7. The Conservation Advisory Council, they're looking for members as well as ZBA and Planning Board. So if anyone is interested, please come on by and say hello to any of our boards. I'd like to thank Mr. Hannon for his engineering years of expertise that he served for the town of Boston. We've moved forward with a engineering firm called Labella, and we have identified that in previous board meetings. We were able to meet with them and discuss upcoming projects and issues that are coming up once we get to the codes that need engineering input. They've got wealth of knowledge and expertise throughout towns in New York State, so I look forward to working with them. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Town clerk.
Okay, thank you. I had attended the Boston Emergency Services Installation Dinner on January 19th. It was an honor to spend the evening with the dedicated men and women that are available to our community for emergency situations 24 hours a day, all weather conditions. No matter what it is, they are available. Some of them are with us here tonight, so I wanted to thank you for that. The Eunice Blood Drive of January 16th had a great turnout of 19 donors. The account executive from Eunice had reported that has been one of the best blood drives that we've had here in town. HEAP outreach will be at the Boston Town Hall in the courtroom Thursday, February 14th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Order your hospice spring bouquets by February 16th from Herb Klein, So, they will be delivered, I believe that is March 6th. Kissing Bridge is sponsoring the Town of Boston Ski Day on Saturday, February 23rd. There is a great savings of the lift ticket and ski and snowboard rental of only $20 each per ticket. Passes are available in the town clerk's office. We will accept cash as the payment, and those tickets can be bought until Friday, February 22nd. Lions Club Spaghetti Dinner is March 2nd at Patchen Fire Hall. There's many community events for February and March, so check the community board in the flyer. The town and county tax bills will be mailed mid next week, and those are due March 15th. And that is all I have, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, for myself, for my report, I brought this up once previously, but actually we discussed a little bit downstairs for anybody who was downstairs this evening. The town of Boston, one of the other many grants that we were able to secure here in a short period of time was a justice grant. With our court offices, they had reached out, informed me that there's a justice grant, and actually the seating that you are all in right now is soon to be replaced. But as I hear, yes, that has been something that I've heard for quite some time. When I was a councilman, as a supervisor, then our insurance company made us zip tie them. It's just been kind of an ongoing thing. So, certainly a kudos and a thank you to our court offices, but we were able to secure a grant which will replace seating. We'll have roughly 60 chairs now, so we'll actually have additional seating here. There'll be much more comfortable chairs and make it a little more modern looking, and the color scheme that was chosen will actually blend in with what we have here. So that will be a nice improvement for the town. I also had attended the installation dinner for the Boston Emergency Squad, North Boston Fire Department, Boston Fire Department. As I thanked all of them while I was there, I will certainly thank them once again for them including me and the invitation. It was a great time. It was a nice way to get together as a community and all come together. So I certainly thank them for that, and also echoing what our town clerk has said. And most importantly, with the past blizzard, all these men and women do serve our community. Something I stated at one of the installation dinners. It doesn't matter the time of day or the day of the week, throughout the year, they're there for our community. And they all do a great job, so I do thank them all. Recently attended the Boy Scout Pancake Breakfast. That they had a great attendance there. It was another great event, so keep out, doing the great work for our community. AIM funding, I will touch base briefly on. If you haven't heard about it in the news, it's definitely going to be a hot topic for municipalities. The impact of the town of Boston, right now we're looking at if the funding is officially eliminated, that would be a direct impact of about just shy of $50,000 to the community. That on a percentage basis with the overall budget would back us right up to that just under the 2% tax cap right out of the gate, and that's again no additional costs for the town of Boston. That's not roads, that's not additional personnel, nothing with salaries. That's right out of the gate. We're right on the back door of that 2% tax cap. Again, we've seen in the news